Hello everybody, this is Magnus Studios coming at you with a new mock presentation, that being the Godzilla in Red mechagojira. Alright, now I know there are many people that are not really too familiar with this. That is because this character is just new. I just recently made him. He's a new character design, and he is not that horror Red Godzilla, but a different type of Red Godzilla. It's called Godzilla in Red. Very original name. I get it. I understand. I was lazy. I had to come up with a new name, but that's what I got. Godzilla in Red, which I guess you could say is a story, a custom story, or OC, just a new universe. I make plenty, but that being the Godzilla in Red mechagojira, and I'm gonna do a review of him for you guys. Now, starting off with the detailing. Getting a closer look, this guy is actually really interesting because he originally was just supposed to be a continuation of a normal Godzilla, but eventually I decided, actually, no. He was supposed to be the normal Mechagodzilla from Godzilla vs. Kong. Okay, versus, not X. But originally I had more red, so I was like, why not remake the normal Godzilla? No, it was too unproportionate to become a normal Godzilla, so, there was a little bunch of change in decisions, so I decided, fuck it, let's make a red Mechagodzilla. And now, that is what we have here today, and it is what I'm going to show you. So, starting off with the detail. Each paneling actually took me not that long, but it was just rather the engineering and proportions of the design that took me quite a while. As the feet really were a hassle to get into because originally they had to be sticking out, but I had to add an extra panel which limited the articulation in order to get the feet to look nice. The legs are they were really simple to do to get that weird thick curvy angle, which I will show the legs when I show the articulation more properly. But you could really get him to some decent posing. Just adjusting the light so it doesn't look too sporadic. Alright, sorry for that minute of silence, but it is a bit fuzzy, not the best phone for the camera, but I think it'll do. We have the nails having this new panel lining, only 3 fingers, which is inspired by the normal Godzilla's in suits, which is basically what his more weird posture is whenever he's always walking, is inspired by the Godzilla in suits. Also, the weird stubby tail, I guess, was also inspired by it, almost, because I don't think they had a stubby tail, but the dorsal plates were really, really, really simple to do. I didn't want to go too crazy with it. This piece does rather come off it rather extremely easily, but you could still put that piece back on there. But I didn't have enough resources for the dorsal plate, so I decided to go a little bit simple. These pieces you can have some effect parts there. But the dorsal plates, and then some custom dorsal plates going down the tail, with some new engineering design for the tail. Going into the chest, it was really inspired by three things actually. It's inspired by the Godzilla vs. Godzilla X Kong, the New Empire's Godzilla Evolved, having that weird kind of Zilla aesthetic where he was really like skinny almost side. But the chest piece is mainly inspired by what's it called? The 2000 Godzilla vs. Kiryu or Godzilla SOS. These rib cages are inspired by the Mechagodzilla from Godzilla vs. Kong. Dorsal plates, I don't really know if there's an inspiration. It was just a random thing. Now, the ratchet joints are to keep him sturdy just in case if he falls off or something. But you definitely got the ball joints there. The arms weren't really inspired by much. I just wanted to keep the weird L-shaped angle that they always have in every single Godzilla movie, pretty much with the suits. The neck isn't really inspired by too much. I can't really show you because I'm not going to fix the camera because it's stuck at an angle. But really, entirely, there's nothing too much to it. other than it's really cool. Going to accessories, there's actually surprisingly not that much accessories. Rather than just this weird tire thing, I don't know. I wanted to make this like some sort of diorama piece. And he also comes with his own effective large beam, which is supposed to emulate almost a different type of color because of the uncontrollable amount of radiation that it's supposed to consume. But that's the beam right there. It's actually not that bad. It can actually fit into his mouth just like this. So how you do it is actually more complicated. You gotta pop out the ball joint. Now what you do is you want to pop these off, right? Just like so. And then next what you want to do is you grab the this joint. You'll have to like remove it, peg this piece off, and then apply that there, right? Then you can grab the jaw and you can simply snap it back in place. And then you grab the beam, not from this side, but from this side with the translucent piece. Align it with the ball joint right there. Or you can separate it because it is be able to separate. You align it, then you find the beam piece that it's supposed to attach to, which is this little hole. You shove it in there. It is really difficult to get it in there because of how it works, because it's really unstable. But bear with me. Then you're going to want to shove the ball joint in when you're done. Actually, just do that. So, then you can do that. And then when you peg that in, you can do that. Shove this top piece in there. And then it should carry it from removing the ball joint because it's able to lock it in place. Oh, don't forget to attach that piece in there. And then you grab the ball joint right at the peak piece and just snap it in there. Originally, I didn't want to snap off the joint because that happens. But there's a more effective way of doing it because, yeah, mostly it's unstable, but I like to review them so I can get rid of them because most of the unstable ones I review and stuff. Most of the stable ones I still review, but that's not the point. So, just put it back. I think it would have been best if I had it separately because as you can see, it's really aggravating. I'll be right back. Come on. After you're done doing that, you're going to want to peg that piece onto there. You just got to find it. Alright. There we go. The ball joint does not support this at all because, well, the beam weighs down the ball joint by like a whole ton. So if you have it like this, I don't know how far I can make it. Oh! Yep, you can't make it that far without breaking it, which is such a bummer. So then you have to, like, manhandle it. But luckily, if you follow me for at least the time I was here, you know I carry stands. So the best part is if you want to pose him, which is spoiling the articulation, and it's falling over, you could just simply use that there. You can erase it or something for pictures or something, but that's what you use for accessories. And you can still actually articulate the head because it's just that single joint, so you can just peg that piece back in. And I'll fix this and go straight to articulation, which wasn't so hard. Alright, now on to articulation, which is why his neck is so big. Alright, articulation time. Because I'm not going to pause it, I want to go straight through it, not editing, you know, just me freestyling this, you know. But, alright, so for Mechagojira, he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ball joints, so they can all go up about this far. Now the worst part, the reason why the articulation is so limited is because of this. Okay, this is a very thick ball joint, and I want this to stay up here. So the ball joint isn't really, the tail isn't really the star of the show, even though normally it is because of how posable it is for articulation in Godzilla's. But the ball joint can tilt back, can tilt side to side. It's really hard to put it in these angles because my the thing I use for the phone is broken, so I have to try my best here. That broke. Tilt side to side. This cannot, so it can only go up. Both of these, ow, that is eye straining. Both of these can go up about that far, and with all of the, with all of the ball joint segments, you can get about that far, which is not that far, but you can still see the tail through the body, you know, and it can go up about that far. And give me a minute while this whole socket came off. So now that we're at this, since this keeps coming off, there is a hinge right here. So it's supposed to go up about that far. And there's a hinge here, technically both. So you can either maneuver which one you want, if you want to get simply, or you want to do that so it doesn't break. Individually articulated, nails. And then there's a ball joint that can easily snap off. So no bicep swivel because of the limited rotation here. So I'm going to put this back on, put him in his normal stance, and then we'll continue with the rest of the articulation. Alright, so this is actually his normal stance that he uses throughout the story. There's no actual animation, it's just headcanon. But throughout the story, he's always in this kind of puppet stance, where this, like the suits, where he's always like in this claw motion. Ow. But I already showed you the arm articulation. Having to pop this off, sadly. Leg articulation is actually a bit more limited. I have to pop everything off. But there's a hinge here just in case if originally you needed this to go farther. You can hinge it out. But it's mainly just for design. There's a ratchet joint at the legs so it can go... it can't really actually kick that far. But if you remove it, you can make it kick that far. There's a up about that far. There's a ball joint here. Can tilt about that far. Cannot go that far. Can bend, and then you can extend the X mark to get it that far. No individual toes here. These are individual though. They hinge here too. They swivel, I guess. But, I already showed you the ball joint articulation and the tail. Wasn't too hard. And then this dear guy. So now in the head articulation, I have to get, oh my goodness, everything's coming apart on me. I want to show that on screen so bad. I'm gonna excrete this a bit more up, because if not, this will not be shown whatsoever, which is extremely sad. Alright, got the articulation for the head now, so you can see it. There's actually 1, 2, 3 ball joints, or 4 if you really think it is, because that's like 1, 2, no, that's just 3. 3 ball joints at the base of the head, so they can go up about that far and extremely down that far. They can tilt, not so much. Oh, each is on a swivel, so you can swivel it. So you can get him to some really great motion in the neck. So you can really get him into some posing, but only in the neck area, because the arms are just, the legs, well, the arms and the tail don't cooperate as much. But if you want to get him into a pose, you can. Sadly, no swivel on the torso. There is a double jointed jaw, but this hinge is not movable because of, well, engineering purposes. So it can go all the way up if you really want to create some sort of crazy roar. But you can really get some really cool angles and poses with him, and just get him into some all of that fun stuff. Alright, so now into height size comparison. Here he is him next to the cross, which hopefully you all know what's about. If not, shame on you. But Here we have Gojira, and then we have we have a Dark Trooper, who I decided to do a little bit of customizing on with the what's it called? I don't even know how you would call it anymore. With Megatron's gun. And you can definitely tell he looks big. He looks, well, he can be big if I do that. Oh. Excuse me, this is a lot of things to do. But if you want to keep him up like that, I mean, it's not recommended, but if you want to keep him up stance like that, then yes, he's actually can be possibly taller than him. But I like to keep him like that because that just looks so much better. There's always something falling, you know? That's the problem of being a Lego creator. Sometimes some things will fall, sometimes things go extremely perfectly at the wrong time. But anyways, we have this guy. He's taller than Mechagojira. Taking him off. We'll see if we got other characters. This will be a long time. Well, we don't have that much, but we have a few. I'm not going to show him. But we also have the Grand Man himself, which is the Yellow Park Optimus Prime that has been through so much, and it's just towers over him. So, I mean, Mechagojira still would want to put up a fight, you know. He would still want to and try and come out on top. So, now we also have my next review. Taking him off. Ooh, why is this wet? That being the Transformers Disposition or New Order concept art. Concept art. Wheeljack. Wheeljack is taller than him, but if you were to stand him upright, he's definitely shorter. Come on, don't do that to me now. He's definitely shorter, but you know, I'll show him off in the review. But don't expect him until like 2 weeks from now, because I still gotta review him and do a lot more with him. But Mechagojira and Wheeljack. I'm definitely gonna review him after this, but you will not see him due to editing and everything. But that is these two guys. One thing I forgot to mention before we go straight into the ratings is that you can remove the chest to reveal some awesome inner detail and like pistons and stuff. To shove it in though, you have to like curve it in. And then, like, find the chest and then secure it. But that was something I completely forgot. But thoughts. If you want me to rate it out of 10, for, like, if I ever give a tutorial and stuff, I would definitely rate it a solid, like, 7 or 6.2 out of 10, because I do think it's really worth it. And I think you can definitely give him a try and some posing, and you can definitely get some things to work with it. Although, if you have used Lego parts, I guess you could say, and they're really like kind of loose on some when you try and build, I don't recommend using him. So like if you have fresh parts or something, fresh ball joints that are tight, you know, they're worth it, then I definitely think you should give this guy a try. But same thing with the base too. Ooh, this is dusty. But same thing with the base, where you can keep that there. The base actually doesn't really need any loose ball joints or anything. If the ratchets are really loose, then that's not a good sign, because you need to peg into other characters too. But the reason why I'm saying that is because you need these individual parts to shove into his mouth for the atomic breath. So it's not really recommended to do that if you know for a fact that those are not well and secure. So of course you're going to give him into a few roaring poses, and that's it. If you can't find this head, it shouldn't be that hard, because most of the parts are used in the set that this head comes with, so I wouldn't seem to see what the problem is if you can't find it. But you can definitely get him into some really cool poses. You can even cheat some poses too. But he does have his flaws. like not being able to stabilize. Sometimes the parts break, but engineering design really worth it. I wouldn't not recommend it to you guys. But that's my final thoughts on the Godzilla in Red mechagojira. This is version 1. I might make a version 2, but that probably never, because I wanted him to have Kiryu SOS parts. But that's it, and I'll see you guys in the next engineering video or something.